Oop.
I'm going to use you as a centering principle. Actually, no. To go back to where you were, you're in the center of the fireplace then. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. Pick the camera. Throw the camera. Throw the microphone right here. Oh no. This one. This gets me in the mood. Yeah.
Centering things.
No, this song. You need to go a little over to you.
Oh, putting things in the middle. That's man, that's great.
Actually, it does order.
Yeah, that's true. Symmetry. Or in the right context, asymmetry. Sometimes a little bit of asymmetry.
No, that
Yep.
gets me.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I do not appreciate that.
Yeah. Like when you're hanging photos, like 1, 2, 3.
No, you have to. The fact that those two crosses are not in line.
Well, that's different.
bothers
Yeah,
me terribly.
those two crosses. That's a different thing I'm
That
talking
bothers
about.
me terribly.
Well, take one down.
Well, no, I'm just saying that I'm not. No, I'm not saying like.
One Jesus said to the other Jesus.
I don't want him to be bothered terribly.
Well, no, I mean like that's an example. I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm just teasing.
Okay. Well, Jesus down there.
That's
Don't
why
worry about Jesus.
Father Ashmore hasn't been sleeping well at night, because both those crucifixes were like that.
Well, then you'd actually have to measure stuff.
Right.
I don't want to do that. Well, the other thing is sometimes different things hang there, so it's just
Yeah, that's true.
like, oh, there's a spare nail there. What does prevent me from hanging the cross?
Spear nail.
So answer me this, if you don't mind. Can they see my feet?
Well, both of you were
It
somewhat
depends on
else.
when you. Well, let's see. Sometimes. Yes,
What's that?
yes, you can see your feet. You can also see my feet.
I don't appreciate that. No.
Mine are
Impropriety is that
fully
what it is?
covered.
Yeah, no one should be able to see my ankles.
That's a rule of my life. No one can see my ankles.
Good morning on Ascension Thursday. That is true. Hello, Patricia.
Kind of.
It's still Ascension Thursday in the Universal Church. We in the United
Yeah.
States have just
We're not
decided
the
to.
only country. Most countries.
We're not the only country. I just
Actually,
read
don't know
about,
that. You say most countries have done that? I don't know if that's true. Is
I
it?
don't think I said most. Did I say most? I think we're not the only, and
Well,
I think
okay.
a lot have.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood you. I thought you said most countries have done this.
Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. What I said. We can look back on the track.
It does not matter to me.
Okay, both things are
Ooh,
working.
yes. I love a little harpsichord in the back. You know what we need more of in church music?
Cowbell.
Harpsichord.
Oh.
Can you imagine that? The song 2 singing over the harpsichord in the background?
Yes.
That would be incredible. Raffaele, take some directions from me here. You okay? What's that?
Busy spell here.
Oh,
Uh-oh, you eat that Snickers.
yeah.
Not yourself when you're hungry.
Bum 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 bum.
He was sanding a lot of the ceiling.
Bum 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 bum.
What are we drinking?
Just Pike's Place. It's in the trash can.
Bum 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 bum.
Está en la basura.
Bum 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 bum.
Debemos hablar un poco de español en este show.
¿Quieres hablar en español?
Do we have any Spanish listeners?
Sometimes.
I just want to practice, but I've got plenty of time. Nice, fresh bag. Not from the trash can. Too bad I can't see it.
They will.
Bum bum bum
Okay.
bum.
It's hidden.
Bum 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 ba da bum ba da bum 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 bum.
All right, well, welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. I was waiting for the song to end.
Good morning,
would not.
everyone.
Look! Ta-da!
Wow!
He's back.
Mm-hmm.
He has appeared. The splash screen has gone away, and we bring you.
We have not lost.
Did you guys get my message? Yes.
We did. I
yes,
was trying to
Okay.
respond. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Cool. I was like,
You also told me in the morning.
okay, cool.
We had a call.
Yeah. I was gonna give you a thumbs up, but I forgot.
Cool.
Okay.
So hey, welcome everybody to the chat. We are so happy to have you here to Fireside Chat here at Good Shepherd Shawnee in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Who is our Texas listener?
Oh, we do have a Texas listener, don't we? We have listeners from all across the United States now. We have some Pennsylvania listeners, some Texas listeners, Kansas listeners.
We need an
Eudora-
international
We
audience.
have
Eudora,
a Michigan
Kansas.
listener. We have a Eudora. Oh my.
Yeah.
We're actually going to start syndicating ourselves soon enough. So if you know any, I don't know, news organizations, any other TV providers or anything who are interested in picking up a show of two priests with sometimes an extra, you know where to look.
So welcome everybody. Glad that you are here. I guess as long as I keep this banner up, our feet are hidden.
That's true.
That's good. So welcome. How you doing? What you got going on? What are you doing to keep yourself sane? It is officially summer for our Good Shepherd school folks.
Congratulations.
Yes. So we had a beautiful school mass yesterday. Nice job, Father Ashmore. It was a great message. So if you were tuning into that, he gave a great homily. If you missed it, everything is on the back. You know, I keep on. Post-production is not something I'm very good at because that requires me to go in and edit and put stuff in there, and I just don't do that very much. So they just plop there, and we just plop it on and turn on the camera and then turn it off. So it's not. I know it's not the most efficient method, but I mean it's the most efficient. It's the easiest method.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not
going to say it's the easiest.
it's not the most efficient method if you want to try to find something in our past.
Okay.
That's true. One of these days, maybe I'll try to organize stuff, but that'll take a whole afternoon. Because we got a lot of videos. We haven't put a lot of content. We have had. Do you realize we have had put something on air 2 months?
Every day for
every
2
month.
months.
That's
Yep.
That's impressive.
Our streak is coming to an end though on Monday.
We
are
are.
going to not have anything.
We're killing the streak. We're not letting it die. We're murdering it.
So we're going to take Memorial Day off and Tuesday morning off. We'll be back for the Mass on... I'll be back for the Mass on Tuesday evening. He will not be.
I will
so
not be.
I'll be back for the Tuesday evening Mass.
nor will I.
This is true.
Because...
Because I'll be celebrating my own masses.
Yeah!
That's
Father
right.
Merceman.
That's right.
I was just thinking you are now the same distance between Good Friday and Easter Sunday for your ordination. On the third day,
So get ready for your
you will rise
crucifixion.
again.
Whoa. Hey, you're right.
Mhm.
So is this the crucifixion then?
I guess so. So
Bring it on. I was gonna spend most of the day painting, so we can.
Can I
call
be
that good.
Pilate?
Can I be Pilate?
what's that?
Can I be Pilate?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay, I'll be Pilate.
There's another Pirates of Penzance reference, kind of. I heard pilot, like pilot of the airplane. I'm like, oh, what? Now where are you flying? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his own X-wing.
We'll just call you Poe. So thanks for tuning in. And yes, this is the first day of summer. We had a beautiful procession there, or parade,
We did.
yesterday. It was really touching. It was really honoring the teachers and the staff who have really worked so hard these past couple months, going from being in-person teachers to being online teachers extraordinaires. So the community really showed up well yesterday. I was trying to sit in the back. I wanted to be there to support the teachers, but I didn't. It wasn't about us. It was about
Right.
the great work the teachers were doing. So
Exactly.
it was really neat to sit back and watch the great love and appreciation that our students, parents, grandparents showed for our teachers and our staff. So thank you so much. I know that on the last day of school, people usually bring flowers or cards or whatever for their teachers or whatever. And then we got a couple things. We got a Snickers and we got
A
More coffee.
lottery ticket.
a lottery ticket. Yes, I have mine too. Where did I put mine?
I don't know.
because I should do the same thing.
You should.
It's not real gambling if you didn't buy it.
So we got lottery tickets.
I think this might be the first lottery ticket
Oh,
of my life.
That's why you have a quarter with it. Because
Exactly.
You're gonna scratch
You
it
see,
off.
I was prepared.
That's
very
phenomenal.
good. So
I don't know how to do this.
First one of your life?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
well, I just turned 18, you know.
Right.
Happy birthday.
I'm older than you.
By
By
less than a
1
month.
month.
I have
Less than a
occasionally
month.
got the gift of a lottery ticket. I don't normally play the lottery. I'm not sure if I've ever purchased a lottery ticket. Maybe
So
once.
I was telling Father Kent before this that my dad had the tradition of buying one lottery ticket every week or so, and it was always for the Powerball or something like that. And I think it was like a couple bucks. I don't know. He would always buy one lottery ticket, and he had the same joke every week. We'd go, walk up to the lottery ticket person, get the lottery ticket, then he'd walk away, and he'd say some variation of, "You're looking at my retirement fund," and then he'd walk away every week.
Well, let me see if I can quickly grab mine
Okay.
if it's handy.
I know I've gotten like 1 or 2 of these, but I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
which ones.
Let's see. So I'm supposed to scratch my entire letters section in the bonus area to reveal my 18 letters and my 2 bonus letters. For each letter revealed in your letters area and bonus area, scratch that same letter each time it is found in the crossword puzzle. Okay. Scratch 3 or more complete words in the crossword puzzle and win the corresponding prize found in the prize legend. Only 1 instant prize per ticket. Okay. Seems pretty
Boom.
simple. So. Oh my, yeah. Very fascinating. I think I may have bought a lottery ticket when I turned 18, but I don't really recall.
I've never gotten one of those like real deal, paper like Powerball or Mega Millions.
Mhm.
But I know I've gotten like 1 or 2 of these things.
Well, mine is not handy, so maybe I can do mine tomorrow. It'll be a ongoing.
Perhaps.
Did you win?
I haven't even tried.
Oh, okay.
I
He
didn't want to do
waits
it
it.
without you. Come on. Who do you think I am? So we got a scratch.
Okay. Maybe we should take this on the ash cam because
No.
you can see you closely.
Oh my.
Now the coloring is just all wrong here.
So we should probably. Oh wow! Why? That's not right.
That just happened. Oh, that's the ash can.
Yeah, this
No.
is not. We're not on the.
You have to bring up the saturation.
Yeah, to saturate. Oh,
Too much.
woof.
What did I tell you when we were talking about those? Okay, let's see. So we're doing.
Salina, bad. Mug. Hyacinth.
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 Do you know what a hyacinth is?
It's an instrument.
It is a flower.
What is a hyacinth? An instrument.
Did you actually not know?
I would have my second.
Well, that's like
That would have been my second guess.
Good. But it's like you got your bass synth and you got your hyacinth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
you were just talking about something.
Your lower synth and your
Oh
hyacinth.
my. Okay, let's see. So,
It's one of the hyacinths.
why do you guys talk about something as I do this? Because this is not exciting to watch.
Well, I don't understand. This seems complicated. So you have letters you scratched off. There's already letters you can see here.
Yeah,
So if you get words from there, out of this pool, you can.
I think
You
so.
win
Well,
stuff?
while they're doing that, then I'll come over here and say hello to my nieces, and you can just keep on scratching. So, hello, everybody. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Laura. Hello, Rosalie. I hope that you are having a great day. Father Ashmore's over there playing a little game, and we're just sitting here
To
waiting
win the big
for
bucks.
to see if he wins the big bucks. And so I hope you have a great day. And hello, Dryling girls. And happy first day of summer. Kindergarten is over, so that's exciting. You're actually a grader. You've gone from a gardener to a grader, so congratulations. And today's drink of the day is Pike Place, Starbucks Pike Place. This was on sale at CVS, so it was like a $2.50 off or something, or $4.50 off. It was like an incredible sale. So I'm like, let's pick up some of these bags. So anyway, Pike Place is the drink of the day. It's delicious, and I'm also drinking out of my Sprout cup because that's my nickname that I got in high school, Sprout. And my sister got this specially made for me with with Snoopy and Woodstock and Sprout. So that is what's going on today. So we will go back to the camera and see if we have a big winner.
So how is the for you and Deacon? What does the rehearsal and everything look like tomorrow? Because normally the rehearsal is a big deal, but
yeah, not
this
today
year, no.
or not tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it'll be
Let's see.
probably an hour or less, and essentially just the servers, and then me
What's this?
will be there. Rehearsal for the ordination.
for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's very much the same as normal, except
What normally happens?
fewer people in the pews. Well, everything big happens in the context of Mass, in terms of like Catholic sacraments. Catholic. St. Louis, there it is again. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a really nice custom, at least in our diocese. I'm not sure. Some dioceses do this. Back in my day, we seem to be one of the few that kind of made a big deal out of the rehearsal, and it was kind of neat because it's kind of like a wedding. There's the rehearsal, and then of course, what do you have after the rehearsal for the wedding? You have the rehearsal dinner, and there's kind of a nice little celebration. But I imagine that the rehearsal dinner is not really happening this year.
It is canceled.
Yeah. So
Yes.
all darn COVID.
So we drive to the cathedral, we go over what's going to happen, and then after an hour we're done, and then might just visit a little bit in the parking lot, socially distant, but then just go
Pretend
back
you don't
home.
like each other.
You
that's
can't
what
have
it
like a cookout, like do burgers or something, burgers, brats. out there?
Boigas, I guess, but no one's planned that, so.
All right, so if you're watching
No.
this, family of Deacon Mersman, I think
We've
you should
already
do
we've got a
cookout.
Saturday. My family has Saturday evening.
Oh, okay.
We're doing Chipotle catering.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that. Yeah, that's cool.
You know what's exciting about his Chipotle catering?
I do not know what's exciting about this Chipotle.
Because he did Chipotle catering, he got a free burrito 2 days
I get
ago.
rewards points.
Nice.
Yeah, and actually that was before I ordered the stuff for Saturday, so I already had that free burrito. So I don't know how many free burritos.
You're gonna have burritos for your first.
I'm gonna
6
have
months
burritos
of
left
free
and
student.
right.
So, yep. So it's very exciting. He is now 2 days away. This is your last Thursday as not a priest.
Yes, it is. In 15 minutes, I'll be 2 days away.
Very good.
Yep,
10:30 on Saturday at
That's
the
right.
cathedral, right?
at the cathedral.
Well, it was going to be somewhere else, I presume.
No, ours was always at the
Okay.
cathedral. The diaconate was going to be Sacred Heart, Shawnee, but then it was moved to the cathedral as well.
Yeah, it makes sense when there's not. I mean, because the only reason, ordinations traditionally happen at the cathedral. That's the proper place for them.
Yeah, that's the best, but any more than 2 guys to be ordained is kind of too big
Right.
For our
so
cathedral.
for our cathedral.
We had a dinky, tiny little, beautiful, but dinky, small. So yeah, I was ordained at Nativity back in 2003. You were ordained at Ascension,
Yes,
Father
he was.
Ashmore?
He was ordained.
and you were
priest.
going to be ordained. You were always going to be ordained at the cathedral because you can do 2 guys pretty well. But I was ordained a deacon at Christ the King in Topeka because it's kind of my home
Solid.
parish. So.
I was ordained a deacon at Holy Trinity.
I was ordained a deacon at Holy Spirit.
Very good. What in the script? Jen, you must have tuned in late here. So, Father Ashmore and I both received a lottery ticket yesterday at the teacher. It's mostly teacher. Again, we tried to stay back, but thank you to the Sickles for getting us. I got from Jack Sickles, very kind of you, Jack, got us both a lottery ticket. I guess he didn't purchase it.
Probably not.
So
You never know these days with these kids. They got their ways.
so, yeah, so we got the lottery tickets there. So, and there is also a Saint Hyacinth. Very good. So, Father Ashmore is seeing if he won $1 million to.
You can only win $20,000 with this.
Oh man, we've been waiting for that.
That's like
Only
not even-
20,000.
That's like almost a new Toyota Camry.
Let's see here. What's that? What is that statue behind you?
Mary.
It's white with a black clock. Maybe that means cloak.
There's Mr. Potato Heads on the same shelf as Mary. So.
Right, which is kind of normal. Let's see here. I do have a Mary up here. A Fatima Mary. Is it this one? There's no black cloak there. It's all white with gold. I don't know what that would be. So
And I'm not feeling really good about this ticket here.
no.
Yeah, it's kind of sad looking.
Yes, we are also kind of casual
Uh-oh.
No,
today.
you weren't supposed to mention it.
Yeah, well, because Father Ashmore is very sensitive about his.
Let it be known though that my feet are covered.
Yeah. So, but you have don't you have cool socks on?
No.
You have the cool kid socks
I
on.
have no cool socks.
I think we need to go look at those cool kid socks. I think those are the cool. Those are the,
I've had enough of this thing.
Yeah, he's getting red faced. He's getting embarrassed.
you were just talking about that.
We can talk about all the home improvement we're gonna do.
Oh dear.
The ceiling will be finished today.
What happens when a priest runs out of socks in the morning? That's what happens, I suppose. But
You
actually,
can't
I
leave
have
the
my
house.
socks on. But it's also a reminder that we have not had mass yet today because we have mass, the 6:15 Spanish mass on Thursdays.
This
So
is true. I won nothing.
Ah,
Yeah, not even a free ticket.
that's
no,
rather
for the
that
best.
is
man.
really stinky.
You know. Yep, that was not fun.
It was not fun.
No.
Oh.
I mean, he spent a lot of time scratching for no result.
I'm not really a thrill seeker.
Hmm.
That was not a thrill for me.
I see.
Now, if those words, that would have been my type of lottery ticket. What if instead of in English, I had been in Latin? Now that would have been exciting.
Okay, so Kansas Lottery folks put together a Latin lottery ticket, and you've got one buyer.
You've got a customer.
I've got, but my goodness, will I buy maybe one of those tickets?
Yeah.
So did you get to pick out what you were scratching, or
No, it was kind of a strange game. You got words on the bottom, you got letters on the
Letters.
bottom, and then you got bonus letters. I don't know why the letters were actually bonus. I don't think they were bonus. I think they were just named bonus letters. And you had to try to get them out through the crossword, and if you got any words, you could get a prize, but I got no words.
Yeah. So the crossword is already fully visible, basically. You scratch off the pool of letters, and if your pool of letters makes entire words, you get more based on how many words you get.
If I missed one, go ahead, please.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
No retirement for you. my
Oh,
man
that's
says.
where Hyacinth came from.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Very good.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Alas, yeah, bonus word under,
Mm-hmm.
but
Wonderful.
you couldn't quite get that.
I couldn't get anything. What can I say?
Bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got 3 words. You get a free. You got 0 words.
I got nothing.
Man.
Nothing in life. This is my
Man.
luck.
That's
I had a.
sad.
Are we? No, we. Never mind.
Huh.
So I had a weird dream last night.
Well, do tell.
I think it. I was taking an exam. So it was back in my seminary days. I was taking an exam, and I utterly failed a multiple choice section.
Oh.
But
no.
I aced the
essay.
essay. Like totally aced the 2 essays, and my teacher was wondering if there was something wrong with me.
Was it Father Hankey?
What's that? It was not. No. I just thought it was interesting. Like I failed the multiple choice, but aced the essay. My teacher was wondering if something was wrong with me.
Yeah, it's very good. I sometimes have those dreams of I don't know if other people have these dreams that you forgot to turn in an assignment or something, and you go back and do that assignment again for a variety of grades, high school, college, seminary, whatever. Yeah, those are.
Have we progressed to the point where we're talking about our dreams in the show? We have progressed.
We've gone
to
from
that point.
lottery to dreams.
I'm
and,
sorry, people. Oh my! Well, I did receive a good question yesterday.
Good, please.
Mm-hmm.
No,
What's
your dad says no retirement for you. Love it.
Yeah. So the question was about it was essentially about what our teaching of original sin is, and it all had to do with Calvinism, whether or not we believe that human nature is deprived. Depraved. So there's in some Christian denominations, especially those who follow the teachings of John Calvin, there is the teaching that human nature is depraved after the original sin, which means that we are completely unable to do any good. We're completely unable to
Ultimate depravity.
Ultimate depravity, exactly. So the question is, first of all, do we believe that as Catholics, that we are depraved because of original sin? And second of all, what do we believe? Give it a try.
No, I do not.
Aw.
Because I'm a little nervous that I would talk about heresy and
I'll give it a try.
on
Okay,
camera.
give it a try. Yeah.
So we're not depraved, but so human nature is fundamentally good, created
Yes.
in God's image. But we do have original sin, which is a lack of perfect communion with God. It is a tendency to sin, concupiscences. So human nature itself is not fundamentally bad, but we are almost fundamentally drawn to sin.
Interesting. Yeah. You can say it like that. So
I did
go
say
ahead.
it like that.
Well, so I have a question that you would think as a priest I would know this, but I don't. I get a little bit confused about this. Original sin we talk about sometimes, but does baptism wash away original sin?
Yes. Okay, so this is a good. Let's get into this.
Yes.
Let's
So
get into this.
this is exciting for me. I like this.
Yeah.
There are two extremes that we can go
Bump
from
set.
this. A lot of people. So I think my dad actually put forward this question. A lot of people want to go to two different extremes when we're working with human nature. Either they want to have way too positive or optimistic view of human nature, or they want to have a far too negative view of human nature. Calvinism would be the extreme of having a way too negative view of human nature.
Yeah.
And Calvinism in its various forms. And I want to be fair to John Calvin because sometimes I think his interpreters are more extreme than he is himself. So I want to be completely fair to him. But that theological spectrum can be a far too negative view of human nature. Sometimes, especially in our modern society, we can have far too positive view of human nature. And we want to forget original sin. We want to forget that. And so we say things like, well, human nature is fundamentally good. Totally. Human nature is fundamentally good. But there's something deprived about us now.
You didn't say depraved.
Exactly. So Catholic teaching is that human nature is not depraved, but deprived because of original sin.
I noticed that you were very careful about that word.
Exactly.
Words matter.
Words matter, as I always say. So, what does that mean? So, when we were created, there are basically these two levels to human nature. There's the natural level, and that's who we are. We have a natural end, but we also have the supernatural end, which means that we are destined for communion with God. And when we were created, we were given the gift of, when mankind was created in the Garden of Eden, we were given the gift of grace. And original justice, exactly. And that grace oriented ourselves so that all our faculties, our intellect, which is the power to be able to think and to see the truth, and our will, which is our power to move towards the good, and our passions, which is our movements towards sensible goods. So, as I've said before, I see ice cream, I desire ice cream, I have a passion for ice cream.
Same.
Exactly. So we have these three powers. Grace brought all those three powers together in a certain way, and oriented them towards the good.
And they weren't in conflict with each other. And they were subordinated to, like our bodily passions were subordinated to our understanding of the good. So St. Paul says, I know what I want to do, but I don't do it. And it's so frustrating.
Exactly.
So that contradiction was not there with original justice.
Now that didn't mean that their will, their desire for the good, or their passions were not active. It just meant they were completely in line and subordinated to the intellect, which itself was being motivated in a certain way by grace, you might say, moved by grace. And so the thing to think about Adam and Eve before the fall is not that they were living these kind of boring lives or they had no desire or anything. No, they were very passionate. They had these great things going on within them, and they experienced all the loves that we experience and all the desire that we experience, but it was perfectly oriented, so it wasn't causing a war within themselves. That war that you see when you want that third bowl of ice cream,
I battle that war often.
Absolutely. So when you feel that, and you're like, oh man, if I have a third bowl of ice cream, it would not be good. My waistline won't appreciate it, and neither will my stomach. I shouldn't have that, but you still want it. That war you experience is something that Adam and Eve would not have experienced in the garden because of original justice, because they had this gift of grace, which helped to orient all their faculties together and bring it to the good in a certain way. So when Adam and Eve sinned for the first time, they lost the gift of grace, because grace is fundamentally a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's the friendship of God which he places within your soul. So once they sinned against him, they lost friendship with God, and they lost the right to be able to pass on friendship with God. So that's why we say that that original sin is passed on via generation and not imitation. That's a clarification that came from Pelagianism, that we don't just sin because we imitate the sins of our parents. We sin because we've lost grace, and that's been passed down to us via generation, via natural production. So before the fall, Adam and Eve would have been able to pass on essentially grace in a certain way. Now, I don't want to say that naturally, but there was a certain way that they could pass on that being in proper relationship with God. But because of the fall, they weren't able to do that anymore. Now, you remember when I first started talking about this, I said that we have two certain levels to our existence. We have the natural level and we have the supernatural level. We have the natural level of our passions, our will. We have the supernatural level of grace. So the supernatural, we have no right to. So when we lost we lost relationship with God, when we committed the original sin, we lost the privilege of grace.
Yeah.
So God was not doing something to our nature. He was not depraving our nature. He was not saying, you are all bad now. He was just taking this thing that we had a privilege, that was a privilege but not a right to,
Yeah.
and made it so that we no longer pass it on via generation.
Mm-hmm.
So that all means that human nature is deprived of grace now, that orienting principle, and we're deprived of all the gifts that originally brought us. So what brings back grace? Baptism. Baptism brings back grace, but it doesn't bring back all the original effects of grace.
Okay.
Because the original effects of grace there were some that were supernatural, so not dying, impassibility, not suffering. Those
Okay.
are things that happened in the Garden of Eden, but those were totally gratuitous, totally supernatural, and not coming forth from our human nature. So we lost those, what are called the preternatural gifts.
Outside of nature.
Outside of nature, exactly. We lost those gifts that were given to us in the garden, and we lost those effects of grace that were would have been almost natural to us during that time. So that means that grace, and its effects, when we receive the gift of grace back in a baptism, then in a certain way, the life of grace has to grow in us and grow in us, so that the effects of grace that we would have experienced in the Garden of Eden can grow within us. So that by the end of our life, hopefully because of the fight of virtue, we've allowed grace to develop and kind of grow in us to where we experience almost what Adam and Eve would have experienced without the internal battle. If that makes sense.
It does. So there becomes a certain even just turn off, or not even a thought, to the third bowl of ice cream.
Exactly.
Because you have grown in the virtue and grown in the grace which, I mean, if we dumb it down to my level for a moment, I think, like, if we, to do something that is virtuous, at first, it often is abhorrent to us, or not appealing to us. Like running, for instance. I use that example often. Like someone who running is or exercise in general is good for us. It's good for our bodies. But if you are unaccustomed to exercising, it can be difficult. But you kind of break through that, and I'll use the running example again. For a very brief period of my life, I was a runner, for 3 weeks. But I had enough understanding of, okay, now I understand what runners, they are so compelled to run. But before that, it's like, yuck. I do not want to do that. I feel awful. But then you build up that desire, and then you don't not want to run. Same thing with if someone eats healthy. If they get in the practice of eating vegetables, then things that you once found appealing, like some real sweet dessert, you can't even fathom anymore because it's disgusting. Right. So similar kind of thing is what is good for us attracts us, and we go to that, and we don't even have the thought of, I even want that.
Exactly. So in baptism, we receive the gift of grace, but we don't only receive the gift of grace. We receive the gift of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, which are defined as dispositions, so the disposition to follow the movements of God. So we are disposed to be able to listen to God more easily because of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And then we receive the infused virtues, which are what you're talking about there. That the infused virtues help to grow in the desire to do the good within us. And then we also have our natural virtues, which we have to grow up. So when you're going to run, in a certain way, this is incredible when you think about it. When you go to run, you have to build up the muscles, you have to build up the lung capacity and all that. That's your natural virtue in a certain way. But when in baptism, we have the natural fight still, but God infuses that virtue within us too, those strengths. So you still have to do the natural work, but it will be easier because of baptism. So you won't feel hopefully you won't feel as repulsed by the good initially because of the infused virtue. Over time, the infused virtue will give you an even greater desire for the good.
And that's gift.
That's a gift.
Grace is gift.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so again, let me dumb it down to my level again. So would that be kind of like the natural traits that you have no control over, like you have good muscle development, or you have really good lung capacity on a natural level? That's similar to what that God-given peace that God gives to you. Now you can use that gift and let those things just atrophy, but you have to use the gifts that God has given you to grow in that virtue.
Exactly. So this conversation can go many, many different directions. But one way that we can apply this within our lives, I think, is every time that we go to receive Holy Communion, or you make a spiritual communion, you have an opportunity to receive an increase of grace. You have an infinite amount of grace you can receive. So a lot of times the question would be, okay, well, I've been receiving Holy Communion maybe every day for the last 20 years, and I don't feel like I've grown in my spiritual life. The question is, how much are you, first of all, asking for the gift of grace to be given to you? How much are you open to that grace? Are you receiving Holy Communion laissez-faire? Are you receiving in a state of grace? And maybe you're receiving in a state of sin. And then God can't give you that grace in Holy Communion because you've rejected His friendship in another way. So you have to make up. Go to confession, you have to make up in a certain way. And then the other question is, are you doing the things in your life, building virtue, like doing the exercise, doing the stretching, in order to grow in virtue, order to grow in grace throughout your whole life?
Like Javine was talking about, like cross training.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great point. It's not just running; it's those other things that go with that as well.
Bible study, rosary, mass. That's exactly. Javine, you got this. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Very good.
So I love the topic of what we're talking about is essentially theological anthropology, which is how the human person is made up and how the gift of grace works within the soul. I think is a very fascinating topic.
Sarx.
Sarx. Yeah, we had a professor.
It's Greek for flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of our professors, he would speak, you got grace, and he loved to say sarx.
Sarks. Not to be confused with socks, which we were talking about earlier.
Which I need. I have black socks in the wash right now. The whole reason why I've been embarrassed this whole show is I have white socks on right now. And
let me take the banner off so we can see these beautiful white socks. There we go.
Look at those. Very embarrassing.
But look, they're the cool kid socks.
They are the cool kid socks. Everybody who's watching.
Finally have your cool kid socks.
What's that? Well, okay.
Cool kids wear high socks.
Yeah, we played right into that. We played right into it. Oh my!
That was awesome.
Oh my goodness! You have no idea why we're laughing. Oh my goodness! Okay, so yesterday I started out my homily with the fact that we have been watching Star Wars trailers the day before, and I was talking about the difference between trailers in the 1980s versus today. Like you have the trailers back in the 1980s, which are like, in a world you can join Leia and Luke on an adventure of your lifetime. Very cool. And then today, it's always that big bass, then darkness.
Which we were watching the other day.
So there's that. And then I said the fact that when I was a kid, I'm one of 9 children. And I always wanted cool socks. All the other kids had these short little socks, but when you're one of my children, you get the socks that you get and you don't complain.
You get your older brother's socks.
Exactly. Most of the time they don't have holes in them too when they come down. And so I always wanted cool socks, but I could never get them. And so then I come back when I'm 20, 21 teaching Totus Twist, and all the cool kids have the long socks that were not cool when I was a kid.
So you played right into that. It was awesome. So he's got the cool, trendy socks from 20 years ago, and I have no socks on. I just have my Star Wars slippers on today.
So what my whole point of the homily was the difference between fashion and the difference between truth. Truth is something that is sustained, it's constant, but fashion changes.
Sock heights change. Truth does not.
Exactly.
Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
that if we were going to put the title of the homily there on the billboard outside, today's topic: sock heights change. Truth does not.
So
that would be it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So. Oh my goodness! And Carly, suspenders are wonderful. That's all I say to that. So, how are we to know what infused virtues have been given to us? Are these the gifts of the Holy Spirit? No. The infused virtues are different than the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So the first thing to know is that when you are baptized, in every moment that you're in the state of grace, which means that you're not in the state of mortal sin, which means that you haven't implicitly rejected friendship with God, and you do that via your sin. Every time you're in the state of the grace, you have all the infused virtues and all the gifts of the Holy Spirit. The infused virtues classically would be the 7 virtues that we talk about: prudence, justice, temperance, fortitude, faith, hope, and love, and charity. That's it.
Love/charity.
That's so nice of you. How charitable of you.
What can I say? Look how I've grown in the last 2 months, right? So the faith, prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude are both natural virtues and infused virtues. Every person who's baptized has all those, but that doesn't mean that you have just like a static amount.
Yeah, or that you're necessarily really good at exercising those.
Precisely. But you can grow in those infused virtues your whole life. The gifts of the Holy Spirit are different. They are dispositions in the soul by which God can speak to you and by which you are disposed to listening to Him. So those would be, let's see if I can, I might need help with the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit.
I always miss one or two.
Let's see. I used to know all these.
Right, Judge?
Fortitude, understanding, counsel, wisdom, fear of the Lord.
Wisdom,
knowledge,
understanding, courage, counsel, fear of the Lord, and piety.
Oh.
There we are. Those are dispositions. And so the best analogy for this is if you imagine a ship in the olden days with the big sails, the gifts of the Holy Spirit are like the sails on the ship.
Says Dr. Feingold.
Exactly. You're right. Mm-hmm. And the Holy Spirit blows into the sails and moves you forward. So you don't actually have to work. The beautiful thing about the gifts of the Holy Spirit is you don't have to work for them in a certain way. But you pray in a certain way so that your sails can be more open. Everybody has the same sails. But some people's sails are more trained or they're more open because they've been more open to the gifts of the Holy Spirit throughout their whole life. They've been more open to the movements of God.
There is effort in there, though.
No, not classically in the gifts of the Holy Spirit. There's only the disposition to be able to say yes to it in the moment. So you're disposed to hear the voice of God, the Holy Spirit blowing upon the sail, but you are open to saying yes in the moment. So that's where the work is.
Okay.
You open the sails.
Well, okay, so the sails are open. It's the disposition to say yes in the moment that takes the work.
Yes. How much you say yes, how open you are. That is like the size of the sail. Exactly. So this is the difference between like when you hear a story in a saint's life that they go and they do something that is terribly difficult, and yet it seems so easy in the moment. And this is even farther than a virtue. This is in the moment Maximilian Kolbe knowing that it's wiser for him to give up his life and before this other person. That's not something of a virtue. That is a gift of the Holy Spirit active within his life in that moment, because that gave him a supernatural wisdom to understand that it'd be better for him to die than to And it
this
could
other
still be
person, too.
in union with virtues.
Certainly, there's a
It's not
cooperation.
that it's only a gift of the Holy Spirit and not virtue. Because his growth in various virtues would have helped him be more disposed to the Holy Spirit in that moment.
Precisely.
well.
Precisely. So, the gifts of the Holy Spirit are those gifts that dispose you to listening to the Holy Spirit in the moment. Everybody receives them at baptism, and they're in a certain way opened more at confirmation. One might say they're strengthened at confirmation. And just like everything is strengthened at confirmation. Yeah, and
Almost read
and then
my
we
shirt,
can
I'm sorry.
continue to open them throughout our whole life. So, and the more that you say yes to the Holy Spirit, the more that you open your sails to listen to Him. So,
Awesome. That was very good.
thank you. Is there anything I
Grace.
missed? Grace.
Grace.
Now you got
Grace.
Dr. Welch, Dr. Feingold, a little bit of Dr. Fenley with philosophical anthropology.
We're talking Kendrick over here.
I didn't take philosophical anthropology with who is it?
Dr. Finley.
Dr. Finley. I didn't because I went to Conception for my philosophy. So
You had 6 years at Kendrick?
8.
8 years.
So
at Kendrick.
3
That's
at Glennon and then 4 at Kenrick plus a year, an internship, pastoral year.
At St. Lawrence?
At
Or-
St. Lawrence.
Yeah, very good.
okay, so I want to take what Carly's saying here and say exactly that I'm going to expand your analogy even farther. So you're doing a really good job here, Carly. Carly says the sails have to be open, but you have to sail the ship in the direction of God's will in order for the sails to fully unleash their power. Exactly. So let's think of this. We're going to use the analogy of the ship and the sails to talk about the whole spiritual life for a moment. So say
Oh
that-
boy. Oh boy.
Exactly.
Tune in.
It's 10:45.
I know. Oh, oops, sorry. We'll do this quickly. So say that I'm going to sail from New York City to England, to London, or whatever port. I don't know the geography of England, but whatever port that you would sail into. And I've got an old-fashioned Viking ship.
Nice.
Now, I set out from New York City and I go east, right?
That would be
That
good.
would be good. Okay, so as I'm going east and I'm going to England, I'm in the state of grace. I'm taking kind of the most direct route to there.
Okay.
Now, say I get distracted and I want to go visit Nova Scotia for a little while.
Okay.
Now, I
I
could.
hear it's nice this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful. Now, I could go up towards Nova Scotia. Well, can I still eventually get to England going that way?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the right direction.
Correct.
It's not perfect. It's not the most direct route. That would be a venial sin. That takes us a little off the way, but we are still in the general direction.
Nova
to God.
Scotia is a venial sin.
You heard it here first, folks. Nova Scotia
Well,
is a
I'm
venial sin.
Sorry.
It's
sorry,
kind
I'm
of taking
sorry.
you out of the way, but it's over there.
Yeah.
Now, what if I wanted to go all the way down, go around South America, and start heading to China? Could I go around South America and I totally ignore the Panama Canal? The Panama Canal is not an option right now.
Okay.
Go all the way around. That would be like committing a mortal sin. I've changed my entire direction. I'm going west now rather than going east. So that's the difference between a venial
But if
sin
you
and a
go
mortal sin.
far enough, the lesson is if you go far enough in mortal sin, you eventually get back to God.
Every analogy is important. So now, setting your sail, setting your ship directly from New York City to England. We have a difference between a mortal sin, which takes us to China rather than taking us to England. You can take a little bit of a detour, but that's a venial sin. Detours you around. On the way there, you want to go faster, so you get out your big, what are those big spoon things that are in the water? Oars, yes.
And there's guys in the ships.
Yeah, the ships. Those are the natural virtues. And then the infused virtues assist you along the way too. So they make it easier for the guys in the
It's like the guys
ships to...
having big muscles to row
Yeah,
the ship.
exactly.
Everyone
Precisely.
together now.
There we go. And then the gifts of the Holy Spirit move you even faster along the way to get to England, get to heaven. So that is how all... And the gift of grace is going in the right direction, essentially.
Okay, very good.
Does all that make sense, people?
That's grace, guys.
Also, you just got to watch us.
We should get
We've been
a GIF
practicing.
or a GIF or whatever those are with an outtake of us doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it would be used for. Like, what
I
could you?
don't know.
Also, the best part too is the fact that I called them the big spoon things. Oars.
That's great.
All right, so we're about out of time. I did have a question over here on the tube is about the Via. What's on the menu for Via's this Sunday?
I haven't thought about it yet. I
Are you
should
doing
think
another
about
cooking show?
Is that the middle school?
it. Probably
Yes.
not.
Okay.
But
So menu, not meaning actual menu, but
Mhm.
like what's on the what are you going to be doing?
I'll
agenda.
figure it out. I haven't looked at it too closely yet. So
You know, Sunday is still 2+ days away.
it's true.
Yes, you've got something big happening on Saturday.
I'm gonna be a priest on Saturday, and then Sunday my first mass.
That's right. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's a kind of a whole weekend event for a new priest ordination. Yeah, you have the rehearsal on Friday. You have the ordination on Saturday. Usually there's a reception or a party. Often there's kind of a double party. I think there's like the one right after the ordination because the ordination's at 10:30.
Yeah, there's normally a bunch. You know, a formal one at the place where you were ordained for everyone that was at the ordination, and then a private one with family and friends you invite. And then you have your first mass, and there's normally a reception after the first mass. So in telling my siblings a while back what all was in store, I was like, reception here, reception here, reception here.
There are 3 within the
Yes.
course of basically 2 days.
Yeah,
When you
with-
like,
Like 24 to 36 hours, you've got 3 receptions.
Yeah, we just did for my first mass. We just had a cookie reception because I had
Ooh.
I think I had a 2:00 mass. I think it was.
Yeah.
I did a separate mass from the normal time, so then I didn't have to worry about people accidentally showing up and like, why is this going on here? So I did a separate mass,
Nice.
and then I think my thought was that everyone would be kind of receptioned out, so there's kind of a light reception
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first mass. So, but it's a big weekend for this guy. So keep him in your prayers as he approaches. It's going to be great to have you as a member of the. We call it the presbyterate, the priest, the brotherhood of the priests. You'll be here tomorrow. Is that the plan?
Correct.
As far as you know.
Yeah, I only have my rehearsal at 2:00. That's all I have on my calendar.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have one more day with this guy. Hey, we could also talk about next week, or maybe who.
Oh,
he,
yeah.
Yeah, he won't be with us.
What's
next week.
great is that we are exchanging this guy on.
He is leaving. We're getting someone else.
Can
Exactly.
we trade in for a younger model, please?
Exactly. So we will be getting a seminarian. He'll be moving in soonish. When is he moving in?
Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday's the day? Okay. He will be moving in
Wednesday.
Wednesday. And so our first fireside chat back, we will have another guy.
Will he be back? Will he be here by 10 a.m.?
Oh, we may not. Yeah, we will be
Fact
having
check.
a new guy. Thank you very much. We'll be getting a new guy soonish. His name is John Donart,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a seminarian. He is
John
currently
Donald.
attending John Vianney in Denver. He did his spirituality year, and we'll learn more about him
Yeah. So
soon. So
we hope that we're not sure if he'll join us every day on the chat or whatever, but I imagine he'll sometimes join us on the chat. So that'll be next week. So one more chat with this guy, unless something happens and things can change or whatever. But we're planning on seeing him tomorrow, and then he'll be off and priestlyizing. Now another nice thing is. He'll have a month off, basically. That's the kind of idea.
Yep.
That between ordination and your assignment, the assignments don't begin until July 1st. And my recommendation all the time is, what's my recommendation all the time, Father Ashmore, to the newly ordained priests?
it is get away.
Make a peanut butter sandwich.
Unless you are allergic to peanuts.
That's right.
So
I always recommend, because I really enjoyed I had about 6 weeks off, and I wrote thank you notes. I spent time with family, and I always say, do not get roped into doing ministry. We're always excited about doing those ministry and doing masses everywhere, but I said, do not do that. Just take time, go to your friends' ordinations, do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of time for ministry
That's
in July 1st.
made more difficult, but there's still plans. Still plans
Right.
like that.
Right.
So we're good.
Yeah, because generally, you're ordained, and then you have got all your classmates from all over the country that you want to go to their
Yeah,
ordination.
we're gonna
as
rent
well.
a big SUV here. I was gonna have my friends from Springfield, Illinois, come up here around my birthday, June 1st, get some barbecue, and then drive up with this SUV to Sioux City for another friend's ordination.
Oh wow.
And then all 5 of us, same SUV, hang out in like, I don't know, North South Dakota, and then go to an ordination in Bismarck. It was going to be amazing.
Yeah, a lot. COVID.
COVID.
Now we've
COVID.
got a very different plan, but same people. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. Lisa, I'll consider how to do that in some form of diagram or something like that. I don't know if we'll have to think about most effectively to do that.
Yeah.
But thanks for the advice. I appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
God bless you all.
Adios.